Welcome to our posts. Today, we will see stories of r/entitled parents. Entitled parent thinks I owe her my seat because didn't book a ticket for her child. This was couple years ago, but I can't get it out my head, so I thought I'd share here. Okay, to start with story. My family lived across the country back then, so I would usually buy a flight to get there. Well, this was during the holidays, so everything was backed up, and there was a lot of storms. So when I got to my first layover, my flight was cancelled, and they couldn't get in their system to get me a hotel, so I slept on the airport floor that night clutching all my bags. By the time I got onto the plane, I had spent 24 hours in the airport. Luckily for this flight, I had booked first class. So I get on the plane and get comfy, and I'm just so happy that I'll be home soon after the last couple days I had. When a really nice flight attendant comes over and point at the empty seat next to me and mine, and tells me a mother forgot to book her toddler ticket, and she was wondering if they could take my seat, and the empty seat next to me. I told that I'm sorry, but I've had a really long day, and I paid extra for this, I would like to stay. The flight attendant was very nice and said no problem. But she let the woman come sit in the empty seat next to me with her toddler on her lap. She immediately looks at me with a scowl and says, "I can't believe you wouldn't trade your seat for a kid," and simply tell her, "Ma'am, I paid extra for this seat, you should have booked him a ticket, this isn't my fault." Then she keeps going off saying things under breath and to her toddler like I can't hear her. And then she tells her kid to make the most noise he can do whatever he wants, and she keeps saying things to me, and I can't believe this entitled woman. I finally lash out and said, "Will you shut the F up? I'm not proud of myself for this, but with the last couple days I didn't care anymore." But my common sense came back and I apologized for swearing in front of her kid, even though I heard her call me a bad woman and many other words. Again, the women wouldn't shut up. And finally my savior came. That really nice flight attendant came over and bent down to the woman's level and said, "Ma'am, you were lucky to be able to switch seats, and all I've heard from you since you switched is you threatening this woman and telling your child to be noisy. This plane hasn't left yet, and we have no problem kicking you off this flight, and if continue to do this while we're in the air, you will be banned." I couldn't help but smile. She finally shut up, and I was so glad that I had downloaded Sex Life on Netflix, so I could finish my steamy show right in front of her. Edit. For people asking, I'm assuming the child was under the age of 2, just a big baby. If your child is under 2, you can fly with them on your lap, instead buying them a seat ticket. I'm assuming this what the women did and was hoping she'd get an extra seat. I hope that clears some things up. Sorry. Edit 2. For those asking, I'm guessing most people on the plane came from a cancelled flights as well. The plane was smaller than the last plane I was originally supposed to go on. I don't know if that was the reason she needed a seat for her kid or not. I don't know why they didn't just switch the grandma to first class, but I'm guess the flight attendant asked if one of them wanted to switch, and the mom was the one who took the opportunity. Again, I don't know if this was the thought process, but it makes the most sense to me. Next story. My entitled mom steals my inheritance. Now she probably is going to prison. So, this might be my last update on the mess with my mother and stepbrother since we're finally starting the legal fights, but I finally had a good laugh. In my previous posts, I haven't said a lot about my biological father. He died when I was 1 year old, so I never really met him. I have one picture of him holding me when I was an infant. I mostly know him from stories from his family. What I do know is he was a man of means. He had a lot of assets that he had carefully divided in his will. Not like so rich I'll never have to work type. Just rich enough that I would be able to live comfortable so long I worked and did right by my finances. I was not aware he had made sure to leave me with anything. Neither did my half-brother Sam, his son with his first wife. I'm the daughter of an affair partner turned second wife. My understanding was that anything I inherited was wasted by my mother to buy things for her predator stepson Chris, who she prefers to me. He was my abuser growing up. In her words, "Daughters don't need inheritance. Just marry a wealthy old man like me." Well, since my mother and Chris have been harassing me lately, we drove to my dad's lawyer to get some things we need from my dad's records for the lawsuit we are planning. He's a sweet older man, kinda looks like my dad a bit, and was my dad's best friend. When we met, he received me with a hug and told me how happy he was to finally meet with him. His wife was there too, and she also gave me a big hug and told me we needed to have dinner at their place. Once we all caught up, we found my mother had been faking receipts to get money from my trust. A lot of it. Some of it from when I was under Sam's guardianship. And she's not the executor of my trust. She had to provide receipts for anything. She's been sending receipts for me because I'm still in medical school. I finished school in 2021. Well, her meal ticket not only got torn, and now she's in big trouble. Because this is fraud and basically my hands are tied about pressing charges or not. She claims me as a dependent on her taxes, so my dad's lawyer would refund her for her expenses. He basically told me there's just no way we can keep this just in civil court. He had to contact IRS and the police. Doesn't help she's been using my social security number for some things she shouldn't. Thank you for the people that advised me to freeze my credit. You guys saved me for sure. I probably won't be able to post for quite a while, and I'm going to be incredibly busy. I'm just mentally exhausted about how much has happened. I wouldn't have done anything about my mom using my trust if she had left me alone. I wouldn't even know about it because the trust is set for me to take over it with proof of marriage or graduating college. And since I didn't know about it, I never sent the required paperwork to take control. She could have milked it dry if she left me alone and just kept sending fake information. I am in the process to get what's left of my trust. There's quite a bit in it and should be enough for me to get a house or condo if I mix it with my savings and still have left over to invest or do other things safely. I might wait for a while to buy anything though. I don't know how safe it would be since my mom still has my social security number. Next story. Entitled parent demanded we brought birthday gifts for all her kids and not just the birthday boy. So my auntie has two kids. One is a boy who is so Abbott able and no trouble at all, he is 8, and my evil cousin who is a girl and is 2. She wants everything. Seriously, if you have something and she doesn't, she holds her breath and won't breathe until she has it and cries non-stop until she gets what she wants. Anyway, it was the 8-year-old's birthday and he was having a birthday party. However, my auntie told me it would be a party for the girl too whose birthday was in December. There would be 2 cakes, birthday banners with her name on, and people would have to pretend it was her birthday too. Like what the F? How is this fair? Oh, the Actall birthday boy. Anyway, she also told everyone we had to bring gifts for both the kids, and if not we wasn't able to attend because it had to be fair for both of them. I did not buy presents for both kids, but attended anyway, and it was something from my worst nightmare. Everyone was tending to the girl, and no one besides me acknowledged the Actall birthday boy. People even sang happy birthday to her, taking pictures of her. She got loads of money, a new bike act. She got double what the birthday boy got. I felt so bad for him, and I saw him crying in his room, so I went up, and he said no one cares about him. So I argued with my auntie regarding this, and she said I have ruined the day and I need to leave. What an entitled woman and her horrid entitled bratty kid. Next story. We were expecting you to watch our kid. 3-year-old birthday party held recently. Kid-themed venue, but not the kind of place that has staff or setup for kids to be dropped off. Invited many of the kids from our little one's daycare, so it's a first time meeting most of the parents. The following exchange happens and still bewilders me when I think about it. In walks entitled parents, Ep alongside others arriving. Goes like this. Ep, where can we put his bag in case you need anything? Me, confused by the question, feel free to keep it at any table you choose to sit. Ep, oh, we're just dropping off our little one. We'll be back to pick him up after the party is done 2 hours. I explain we cannot support watching their child and hosting said party. Nobody can be responsible for doing so. They will need to stay. He is super simple to watch, and you won't have a problem at all. Just call us if there is one. Their kid is a 3-year-old as well. Me. That will not be happening. Once again, we are busy hosting and watching our kid. You need to stay with your child. Well, I guess he and the gift we brought will not be able to stay because we have shopping to do. Me. Thank you for stopping by. They blankly stared at me, shocked their threat did not work. Of course, their kid had a tantrum having to leave so fast, so they stayed for the first half of the party. Still walked out with their gift, though oh darn one less random Amazon Kids toy. Who in their right mind thinks it is okay to drop off a 3-year-old with people they have never met before other than a daycare? Next story. Was so happy to get a car until I found out my parents got a dashcam to watch my every move. Just found out that my dad purchases a 4-camera dash cam to see everything I'm doing in the car. He said that now he can see who I'm going to pick up and what I'm doing. He said I can't listen to music and also said if he hears me curse he's going to take away my car for a week. I understand the benefits of a dash cam, but I was happy to get a car just so I could feel free and take a breather if things get too much for me. But no, they're going to watch me in the car too, and honestly that ruins it. I can't get no privacy at home either. My room is in the middle of the hallway and they make me keep my door wide open. That's why I'm so sad I can't have privacy in my car. I'm literally always being spied on. Next story. My parents expect me to be a babysitter even though I moved out. I 24F have been moved out for a few months now. I have a younger brother 17M. He plays a bunch of sports and also volunteers. My recent issue has been that my parents expect me to drop everything to babysit him when they want to go on vacation or have weekend plans, which is becoming more and more frequent. They give me very little notice too, expecting me to drop my weekend plans. They don't even give me a choice either. I get a, we're doing this in a few days, and I am expected to do it. I can't say no when they've already booked things or else I'm a hole. My frustration is just the fact that they have a busy child and proceed to go on all these vacations and trips, expecting me to drop all of my plans to drive him around and stay there. The most notice I get is a few days in advance. I know I need to set boundaries, I just don't know what to do or say. My parents are very hot and cold, and I just know there's going to be anger on their side. I'm just tired of being expected to drop everything to cater to their plans when I don't even live at home anymore. Any and all advice is appreciated. TLDR, my parents expect me to babysit my sibling whenever they want despite me moving out. Next story. My daughter likes your pin and button, can she have them? Okay, I work as a door greeter at you-know-where lol. So I am used to compliments like, I like your pins, where did you get them? Some of these pins are from vacations, conventions I attended, and online. I have this one lady M who has a kid about 7 or 9 I don't really know. They always talk to me about one pin her child likes, which is actually a button. It has a griffin, a creature with the front half being an eagle and the other of a lion. It's done by a friend of mine who does MLP style art, so it looks kind of cute. Always loves it and talks about it and hints she wants it. I told her my friend's website to commission one of her own, but M kind of shuts it down with this kind of look. Well, yesterday and M come in around 7 p.m. and do their normal round of shopping. Usually normal banter, but M suddenly just said, my daughter really likes your button and one of your pins. Can you just let her have them? I am shocked because I know which pin the kid wants and the button. The pin is of Mothra from Japan and it's my favorite. I tell her no and that she can find the pin on eBay and the button was a commissioned work made for me. I actually spent money getting this made for me. M just said, I know you didn't waste your money on this stuff. The pin is like $5 and the button you got for free out of some kid grab bag. I am shocked and pull up the pin on my phone and shows the price to be about $25 and my friend's Fear Affinity commission page, which proves I paid at least $15 for a custom button of my griffin. I tell her no and that she can buy these online and that I will not just give her these. She decides to tell my manager I stole the pin and button from her daughter. My manager, on the other hand, tells the woman that I have had these on my vest since I started in March. My manager also was on my side because M is a downright Karen to nearly all in the store. She complains about nearly every service we provide, even if the provisions are needed. She still goes off about the pin and button that her daughter deserves them, and I am a grown woman who needs to grow up. My manager tells her to leave me alone and let me do my job. So in short, I am expected to give my own personal property to a customer's child. After saying no, I am accused of stealing from her and that I somehow must give it up because Mothra pin and my Griffin button are for kids. For your information, I don't know what American kid would like Japanese Godzilla movies currently. I am glad my manager agreed with me and also backed me up. Next story. My entitled sister and brother-in-law wanted me to sacrifice my youth for my nephews. This happened in my early 20s when I was still a college student. I stayed at my sister brother-in-law's house for a while. They have 3 kids. Back then their eldest 2 were under 3. I did a fair bit with them, played toys with them, watched shows, read to them. But I was also a typical college kid who occasionally wanted to party and go out with friends. My sister and brother-in-law hated this and would shame me. They wanted me to go to college and come back home as soon as my classes finished. I wasn't even near the most wild college kid. It might be once a fortnight I would go to a party. Every time I would tell them I was going to be out, it was, "But what about your family? You need to be closer to your family. Your friends won't be forever. You should be spending time with your nephews." I was honestly treated like some deadbeat parent for wanting to enjoy my youth. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel. Our posts